بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك مش مالك بذنوبك بسهلك بحبك.
This is the situation here. Christians and Muslims are suffering. It's not justice in here. It's not democracy in here.
We are treated like a low-class people here in this country, in Israel. We face all kinds of discrimination everywhere, wherever we go.
I feel like I don't belong to here.
You are asking Israel if it treats Christians or Muslims different. No, it's exactly the same. We are under the same occupation.
You don't have like a human being rights.
And is this all Christians generally, or?
Anybody who is like not Jewish, I think.
The Muslims protected the Christians, protected the churches, and that's why churches are existing. Muslims could have destroyed, all of the churches and killed all the Christians 800 years ago.
Go to Bethlehem, see shops beside the others, Muslim and the Christian.
The Middle East, and this whole area, many minorities lived under Islam. Even Jews. We all know that Jews were protected by Muslims in Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia from the Christian Inquisition. No, they did not pay taxes, when the Muslims came.
Church has been closed because the Jerusalem municipality charged the churches here a tax on the property tax, which was about $190 million.
After 50 years, she changed the law and make us pay taxes from the beginning of the Israel existence till today.
When the Israeli government closed the Al-Aqsa Mosque, there is a lot of Christians was standing side by side with Muslims. The same as well when they closed the Church of Holy Sepulchre. You could find a lot of Muslims are standing with their brothers, Christians.
With the high taxes will become a very heavy burden on Christians.
Well, they just like living on donations, they can't pay taxes.
The whole story is about one thing. The Israelis stole our land. That's the whole story. It's political problems, not religion problems.
Peace be upon you. From Jerusalem, the center of peace.
It's not only Israeli TV that puts out this vile hate toward Christ and Christians. American Hollywood and TV is just about as Jewish as they are in Israel. In America, they have to be a little more subtle than in Israel. In his TV program, Zionist Larry David makes up a story where he uses the toilet in the home of two devout elderly Christian ladies. His urine splashes up in a picture of Jesus. And then Larry David and his other Jewish co-writers mock Christians by depicting these Christian women as believing that David's urine was a miracle tear of Jesus. The women then venerate Larry David's urine on the face of Christ. Here's a clip of Jewish comedian Sarah Silverman. She's not as subtle as Larry David.
Good. I hope the Jews did kill Christ. I'd do it again. I'd do it again in a second.
Do you think Silverman had any trouble in the Jewish media for hatefully saying that she'd like to crucify Christ again? Not in your life. She gets the red carpet treatment from the rest of her tribe that runs the media. The truth is that the vicious anti-Christian hate of Israeli TV, of Hollywood, and the sick freaks like Silverman are not one bit more extreme than the sacred writings at the core of Judaism. Silverman's just repeating what she's been taught from the Jewish Talmud. Now, some of you don't know what the Talmud is. Here's the Jewish definition of it. Quote, the primary source of Jewish religious law. The Christian Zionists and the media keep you from the fact that Christians are today routinely spit upon by religious Jews in Israel. Now here's a headline from Haaretz newspaper in Israel. It reads, Christians in Jerusalem want Jews to stop spitting on them. The Jerusalem Post quotes Father Agoyim, a leading Christian clergyman, saying, quote, every single priest in this church has been spat on. It happens day and night. Elderly Christian nuns are so often spat upon that they fear to go out. Now, could you imagine if Jewish rabbis or Jewish women were being regularly spit upon in London or New York? I tell you, it'd be one of the biggest stories in the Zionist-run media. Heck, Steven Spielbuck would make another movie. He'd probably call it Spitter's List. But oy vey, it's only Christian Goyim being spat upon, so what's the big deal? In order to keep the Christian money flowing to Israel, Christians are not allowed to know that Christians in Israel are routinely spit upon. Unless you've read my books, I bet you didn't know. Now, don't you think that you have the right to know? In Larry David's HBO television show, he urinates on a picture of Jesus. Two devout Christian women are then portrayed as thinking the urine on the face of Jesus is a miracle tear and are mocked and ridiculed. If this is supposed to be funny, I'm not laughing. Here's a clip of Sarah Silverman.
Good. I hope the Jews did kill Christ. I'd do it again. I'd do it again in a second.
This obscene, disgusting anti-Christian gets the media red carpet.
You ask me to suck. You and you fucking Jesus could kiss my ass, okay? Go away. Screw you. Go. Don't camera, no camera. I break your camera. Don't take picture, okay? Screw you, you Nazi. You fuck. Don't take camera. I break your camera. Don't take picture. Shabbat Shalom, no picture. We don't want picture.
Please. You need to. You can't come in here. This is not your house. This is not your house.
We killed Jesus. We're proud of it. Where are you?
Did you record that?
Get the fuck out of here. This is my land, you.
This is not your land. It belongs to these families.
Land, you son of a bitch. I'm gonna kill you and the Palestinians. You Nazi, you son of a shit.
Hand for them.
This is my land. God gave it to me. Fuck you.
Hand for them.
Nazi. Call everyone you want. This is my house. This is my land. God gave it to me. And fuck you.
When Trump says that Israel is one of the great democracies in the world, I would say that's the biggest bullshit I've ever had.
We're here in Bethlehem, home to an ancient Palestinian Christian community, to hear what they have to say about Christians in the West supporting Israel, Donald Trump's move to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, and to see what life is really like here for Christians living in the occupied West Bank.
I always try to tell my child that we don't hate Israelis, but we hate what they are doing to us. My name is Marwan Harb. I'm a Christian living in Palestine, Bethlehem. When I hear that Christians in the West are helping Israel, thinking that they are helping Christians in Palestine, I think they're mistaken. Israel is who to blame. They took everything, man. They took all your life since you were a child.
There's understanding between Christians and Muslims that live here. There's a lot of differences as well.
And who care about us? The Muslim Palestinian, they care more than the Christian in the world. So our brother, they are the Palestinian Muslims, not the Christian in the world.
I tell my brothers and sisters from other nations, Christians, I tell them to support us. My name is Sandy Kumsiya. I'm a Christian Palestinian. We are here in Bethlehem. It's really sad here.
What happens to anyone who speak against the Israeli government here? If they will notice that there's someone might make a threat for them, they will come in less than 10 minutes and take him away and will be in jail.
Some of the most basic rights, human rights, are not given to us.
We have a problem with the government and the rules they set.
Freedom of movement, freedom of speech, just freedom in general. We don't have it.
And this is it. The separation barrier, also known as the Apartheid Wall. It separates Bethlehem and the occupied West Bank from Jerusalem, meaning that for Christians to visit their holy sites, they need to go through an Israeli checkpoint and get Israel's permission.
Basically, you're not allowed to breathe unless you take their permission.
They control how much water we get.
So we get the water like 1 day in the month. So this is a big problem. No one know about that and no one care about that.
What I think of the US recognizing Israel, Jerusalem, that the capital of Israel.
هذا غلط كبير. ترامب ما له حق يعطي إسرائيل دولة.
They can claim it the capital of China if they want. Doesn't make any difference to us.
لأنه القدس عاصمة فلسطين.
We want peace, of course we want peace, but we want balanced peace and fair peace.
Israeli security forces dispersed a group of Palestinians in the occupied West Bank towards the end of a demonstration against the construction of Israel's separation barrier. The police said they made 2 arrests. Court rulings have stopped part of the barrier that would have separated a monastery from a convent of the same Catholic order. But Israel has carried on building the rest of the wall, leaving only a short gap. Among the protesters in the Christian village was the former Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem. Our message is, this land is ours, he said. Whatever you ruled, whatever you decided, you're deciding by the force of wars and weapons, and this is illegal. Protesters believe the wall is being used to link Israeli settlements, consolidating the annexation of Christian land. In 2004, the International Court of Justice declared the new barrier illegal. 5 years ago, part of a wall was dismantled as Israel said the security situation had improved. Today, the battle over what Palestinians dubbed the apartheid wall rages on.
In northern Israel, a Catholic parade thanks God for protecting the image of Virgin Mary. Today, it's these Christians who feel they need protection.
These extremists, whether Muslim, whether Jews, is raising more and more.
We are afraid because there was an escalation, very dangerous escalation.
That escalation is of hate crimes against Christians in Israel. In this Jerusalem church, the words "Jesus is garbage" was scrawled on the side wall. At the Vatican's Jerusalem headquarters, recent graffiti threatened death to Arabs and Christians and all those who hate Israel. The church believes the perpetrators are ultra-nationalist Orthodox Jews. Outside the site, believed to be both King David's tomb and the Last Supper room, they protest a rumor the building will be handed over to the Vatican.
If someone will give up 1 inch from that tomb, they'll start a war between Jews and Christians. God forbid.
Even though they commemorated the 67th anniversary of the Nakba, or catastrophe, Palestinians sure have a lot to celebrate this week. Not only did the Vatican officially recognize the state of Palestine, Pope Francis is declaring 2 Palestinian nuns as saints. Sisters Mariam Bawardi and Mary Alphonsine Danil Ghattas lived in 19th century Ottoman-era Palestine and will be the only modern-day Palestinians to become saints. This news may come as a big surprise to many folks who didn't know that Palestinian Christians even exist. Even though, and I'll let you in on a little secret here, Jesus Christ was from Palestine. You know, the birthplace of Christianity. So anyway, here's what you should know about Palestine's Christian population. They've always been an essential part of the fabric of Palestinian society and the collective struggle against Israel's occupation. But the numbers of Palestinian Christians have drastically dwindled. Take Bethlehem, for example, the city of Jesus' birth. In 1947, the year before Israel became a state, 85% of the city's population was Christian. Today, it's less than 20%. In Jerusalem, the Christian population in 1947 was 19%. Now, it's 2%. In fact, today, Christians make up only about 2% of the population of the occupied West Bank and less than 1% of the Gaza Strip. So, why have the numbers of Christian Palestinians decreased so much? The simple answer? The the occupation. Israel's illegal military occupation of Palestinian lands has meant daily hardships for all Palestinians, including Christians. We're talking restrictions in movement, limited access to water and electricity, and a beleaguered economy. In and around Bethlehem, for instance, Israel has imposed some 32 checkpoints, roadblocks, dirt mounds, and gates that limit how Palestinians can move around the city. On top of that, Christian and Muslim Palestinians alike are denied access to worship at their holy sites in Jerusalem's Old City. That's because Israel forbids Palestinians from the West Bank and Gaza from even entering Jerusalem unless they get a difficult-to-obtain permit. As for Christian Palestinians living in Jerusalem, a recent survey found that more than half want to leave. 81% believe the occupation is the biggest challenge they face. It's not much better for the Palestinian Christians who are citizens of Israel either. They suffer the same widespread discrimination as other non-Jews who are a minority in the state, including employment, housing, and land ownership. There's actually more than 50 laws that discriminate against Palestinian citizens of Israel, making them second or third-class citizens in their own homeland. So how do Palestinian Christians feel about the news of their new saints? AJ Plus visited the Christian quarter of occupied East Jerusalem to find out.
كتير مبسوطين وكتير سعداء وبنشعر بفخر واعتزاز عشان طلع من عنا كمان قديسات تنتين.
Our life now is very difficult. A lot of things that make you go away from the church. I hope it will be a positive effect to let people go to church more often.
واحنا مبسوطين عامة الكل حتى يمكن في يهود أو مسلمين حتى برضو يمكن مبسوطين هذا الإشي لأنه هون ببلادنا.
So Palestine got its first saints and recognition of statehood from the Vatican. But will this bring the Holy Land a step closer to peace?
بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بسهلك بحبك